Welcome to another episode of the Glint Standard. Today we're going to be talking about the essentials of an effective social media strategy. And I have with me our other social media superstar, Tori. See, I was about to say Taylor.
It is.
Tori Taylor. Tori, if you want to give a little bit of background as to what you do, how you, help out with the social media.
So basically I kind of do the different graphics, and I also help with different TikTok ideas and executing them. And yeah, basically we just brainstorm and figure out our plan.
Yeah, don't let her be super humble. This girl is super creative. Okay, she comes with all the graphics. So to a little breakdown, Tori is the graphic queen. If I have an idea, I take it to her. And then usually we will tag team the posts and content calendar and all that good stuff. And I'll go in and write copy. So it's a team effort for sure. Social media is not for the weak.
Yeah.
And with that being said, right, really, social media is so easy, I think, for people to underrate in terms of how much work. No, you're good. It's a little underrated, right? In terms of how much work actually goes into making social media successful, right? Everybody thinks that, give me the quick second and I can make something go viral, or growing your followers is super easy, or constantly having to create content is also super easy. Yeah. And in all actuality, it's a lot of planning, right? It's a lot of planning. And so really, what we need to understand when we think about social media is understanding that you do need a strategy, right? You can't just go in and be like, I'm going to create all of this random stuff and then it not really have a point. Yeah. Right? Just creating content for the sake of just creating a post. And so really, I think first, before even trying to tackle social media, is really understanding what that content strategy is, right? Really aligning what your goals are for your social media along with the goals of the company, right? Because really, at the end of the day, social media is not going to be your number one selling point. It could be for some people, but it's not, right? Some of it is brand recognition. Some of it is just thought leadership. Some of it is engagement, which is a really important one, right? And then lead generation. It's having people kind of be aware that you're there and maybe go and buy something or sign up for something or just become part of your community or whatever it may be, right? And really, some of the really strong components of content strategy is, we said, is having a content calendar, right? Yes. I think that's our Bible.
It is. It's definitely our go-to. We live by it. We're constantly in there just changing things and putting in our ideas, and it's the best way that we communicate with each other too, in a way.
Yeah. So, for sure. I agree. I think it keeps everything in line, and even if we let's say a client has a last minute change, right? You create your content calendar. It's not set in stone, but at least you have the ability now to be okay, I can move this post here and I can move that post here and I can make this one work here, and really managing how all of it flows together and still stays consistent, right? There are a lot of benefits of making sure that that you're using a content calendar. If you're not, please make sure that that's the number. Yeah. Right?
Because it helps you keep track of your different clients and how many posts you want to make. Mm-hmm. That way you don't go too crazy, because it can happen where you just get in the zone and you just want to...
You just start making stuff, right? Yes. So I will go down the meme rabbit hole and just be meme here, meme there.
It's yep. Let's do 5 this week.
Yeah. And then it's next week you're oh, yeah, there's no creative juices today. Yeah. So content calendar, I think, is really, your basis for a really strong just social media strategy, right? But with your calendar is really thinking about the type of content that you're putting out there, right? And it all, like you said, depends on our clients and our brands and things like that. You know, we have some clients that we get to have a little bit more fun with, right? I think of like Parker County, right? The brewery. And we can be a little more quirky. I love the graphics that you do for their taps and tunes, you know. Right? But and it's cool because we're able to like promote the events that they have going on ahead of time, and then able, when they say, hey, we launched a new beer, or hey, we want this poll that we want to do, or whatever it may be, it's like we're able to go in there and really change up the lineup of the content, you know? But yeah, so on top of it being like entertaining, right? Because obviously if you're creating content, you want it to be entertaining. We have some other clients that are a little more serious, so we want to make sure that we include in your content that you have something that's educational, something that's resourceful, something that resonates with the brand. With your brand, your audience that's following you, right? Because they're following you for a reason. They like what you've posted. Maybe they found something that gave them more information about who your company is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Things like that. So yes, for sure. Number one thing I think when thinking about your social media strategy is a content calendar. But really, once you have your content calendar, and let's say it's your first time going about making one or putting one together, you want to go back and look at your analytics, right? You want to go back and look at your data. You want to make sure and be like, what did good? What's
bombed? Actually working?
Or just be like awkwardly surprised when like something that you thought wasn't gonna do well did like ridiculously well, and then like the one piece of content that you took like a week to finish got like 2 likes, and it was from like your own account or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's so tough sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, especially with you doing like the graphics and the creative piece of it, it's like having almost to like one up like what you did, or
the week before, and just trying to make sure that it still grabs the audience attention, and just making it so that it's not, I guess, too repetitive, because sometimes I worry about that, where I'm just like, I don't want it to be like stale, and where they're like, oh, it's the same thing again, like I don't want to see that, or
or like they scroll past it because they're like, oh, I feel like I saw this again, or I've already seen this. It's like having to go through every month, and it's staying within the brand but still being different every month and then every year. It can quickly get overwhelming if you don't have that really good foundation, I think, right? So just making sure that you're analyzing your data. Like, Meta is really good. Like, you can go in and like check your stats and see what posted good. Like, if you have your Instagram and your Facebook, your YouTube, some of the other ones that are kind of linked in through Meta. Yeah. You can see your stats there. We use a third-party content studio. They're also really good at giving you your analytics and making sure that you can kind of go back and see what did successful. I always like to go just into the individual platforms. Like, I'll go into Instagram, or I'll go into TikTok, or I'll go into Facebook, and kind of just see where the engagement is, which post really did well on what platforms, and then kind of move forward from there.
Yeah, because they also have a lot more detailing in there as well. So
yeah, I agree. I think making sure that you know what bombed and what is good is always beneficial when you're planning your next month. Yeah. Because you don't want to repeat those same kind of things again, right?
Right.
So just adapting and moving forward. But yeah, like I don't know if I can say it enough. It's create a content calendar. Like, create a content calendar. If anything else from today's talk, right? Making sure that when you are creating that foundation for your social media moving forward, maybe you have one for your business and you've randomly been posting and you're trying to figure out why maybe you're not growing, or it's not showing up, or the algorithm is pushing it down. You might want to reassess and think about, what planning, right? Planning ahead and really what can you do better. If you have a plan, then you can go back and reassess. But besides all of that, What is your favorite platform as a creator? Like, which of all of the socials do you love to create for the most?
So that's kind of a tough question, but I think it would have to be TikTok.
Yes, I do love your TikTok ideas.
Yes. Because I feel like TikTok, like, the ideas are endless. And plus, you have no idea what's going to go viral. The things that go viral are out there sometimes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's very straightforward. And it's always fun trying to find things that you can actually apply to the different brands and just figuring out the best way to make it work for them. Because sometimes there are things where it's like, it's a little questionable, but it's like, well, maybe I can make it work. Maybe I can push that little boundary just a little bit and see if it'll work out for them.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I think you do such a good job with that. Like, honestly, I think one of our best examples of that is like Prestige.
Oh yeah.
Like, they have a really involved staff, and so anytime that we're like, hey, we have an idea, we're like, can we get like 4 people, right? And again, it goes back to the planning. Like, Tori and I will come to the table, we'll sit, we'll say, hey, we need some of these, we'll figure out where we want to fit them in, and then we'll take a day, film like 4, and then kind of scope out the social media landscape and be like, oh, this is a good time to post this one, and oh, this one is like right at the tail end of the trend. Like, let's post it now, right? And so really making sure that we're fitting it into their calendar, into their schedule in a way that feels natural to who they are, right? I'd like look at theirs, and Prestige on a good day, right? They get a couple of likes on Instagram and on maybe Facebook, but then you look at TikTok, and I've seen them go in like the 800s. I think one of them is like up in the thousands, which for a small, credit union is, I think,
it's pretty good.
Pretty significant, right? And again, some of those, it's like we've planned them out and they've done not so well, and then some of them we do last minute and they do really, really well. Don't be too hard on yourself, right? When something like that happens, or you have something that flops, just be consistent. Continue to create your calendar and continue to check out other brands that are doing what you want to do really well, right? Like, I know you and we talk about this also constantly, and what is one of your favorite brands that's out there?
I know we definitely check in with like Hootsuite a lot.
Yes, we do love some Hootsuite.
I know at one point it was like a car dealership. I think it was like Nissan or someone.
Oh yeah.
They were doing like a couple of good ones. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. Oh, for sure. I think those are really good. I know you and we talk about Hootsuite all the time, and you know that they are a content planning platform, right? Like, you can go in and schedule your stuff, so you know that they're on there planning and doing all of that and making sure that they're staying ahead of the game, and it shows. But yeah, other than that, like, if you have to give one tip, final word, one tip to somebody that is managing social media for maybe a small brand or even a big brand, like, one tip that you think is you should know, or you should practice, or you should do. Like, what is one thing that you know that you do constantly to continue to improve, like, your approach to social media?
I would just say, like, basically research and staying up to, like, the trends, and just being creative with it. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I think that's a really good one. I would say the same. Research, right? It might seem like you're sitting there just aimlessly scrolling sometimes, but believe me, like, you'll find gems, or you'll start to see things that you're like, oh, we could do that. We can implement that, or we can make that trend or that type of post work for us, or follow organizations, companies, businesses, everything that's maybe similar to you, but maybe not at the exact same industry, or that has the same kind of passion, the same kind of purpose, the same kind of, mission themselves. And that's definitely going to help you think overall, understand how to maybe approach your social media next. Yeah.
Right? Well, how do I end it, Jake?
You can just be like, well, that's everything. Like and comment. Like and comment.
Yeah. Well, that's everything.
Yeah. Well, that's everything. I'm just kidding.
Like, comment, and follow.
There you go. On all streaming services, platforms, all the good stuff. Yeah.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Glint Standard. You can see more episodes here, or click the logo below to follow our channel, and please hit the thumbs up if you like this episode.